You're watching this video right now because something fundamental is already changing inside you. It's not a coincidence, it's not mere fate, it's not an algorithm that brought you here by chance. You have been called to receive this transmission at this precise moment because your entire reality is about to rearrange itself in such a radical way that it will take your breath away. What you're about to hear is the final and crucial step before the great leap, the final test before your true awakening. Have you ever felt an inexplicable restlessness, even when everything seems still? A subtle feeling that the world around you is slightly off? It's not your imagination. It's your soul sensing the dissonance of a manipulated reality. Welcome to the war of frequencies. There is a war being fought not with weapons, but with vibrations. A war for your consciousness, your health, and your connection to the divine source. Most people live their entire lives in an invisible prison whose bars are made of sound waves. They hear music, they hear news, they hear the noise of the city, but they don't understand that what they hear has been programmed to keep them small. Today we reveal one of the best-kept secrets in modern history, the manipulation of the standard tuning from 432 Hz to 440 Hz. Why has the frequency at which humanity has produced music for millennia suddenly changed? Why does nearly every pop anthem, every radio broadcast, and every symphony now resonate at a frequency that promotes stress and separation? The universe doesn't respond to words, but to frequencies. And if your environment is tuned to counteract your biology, then inner peace isn't a state you can achieve, it becomes an impossible struggle. In the next few minutes, we'll lift the veil. We'll examine the mathematics of the universe and understand why 432 Hz is the language of your DNA and why 440 Hz is the code of the matrix. Prepare yourself. What you've always thought of as simple music is actually the key to your mental prison, or to your ultimate liberation. To understand the present, we must look into the shadows of the past. Behind the scenes, everything moves according to a plan that the untrained eye cannot see. Until the early 20th century, there was no globally applied standard tuning. However, the greatest composers Verdi, Mozart, the great masters of the past, preferred a tuning based on the natural mathematical grid of the universe. Verdi himself insisted on the A at 432 Hz because he knew that this was the frequency that transmitted the human voice most perfectly and opened the listener's heart. But then came a change. In 1939, shortly before the outbreak of the greatest conflict in modern human history, a decision was made that still resonates today. An international conference held in London set the standard concert A pitch at 440 Hz. Ask yourself, why 1939? Why at a time when the world was on the brink of disaster? There are clues that lead deep into the archives of power. Theories suggest that this change was not made for aesthetic reasons, but for reasons of control. Studies, funded by powerful foundations and supported by military research, are said to have been conducted that have shown that 440 Hz produces a subtle but constant agitation in the human nervous system. A frequency that easily unbalances the mind. A vibration that tends to focus consciousness on the external world, on fear and material concerns, rather than on inner peace. Imagine being able to put an entire population in a permanent state of subliminal tension without them realizing it. It would be easier to control them, easier to scare them, easier to manipulate them. This is the dark art of psychological warfare through sound. The Nazis knew the power of propaganda, but they also knew the power of frequency. And after the war, this standard wasn't reversed. It became the norm. It became the ISO 16 standard. Today, 440 Hz is everywhere. When you turn on the radio, when you open Spotify, you're immersed in this artificial field. It's a frequency not found in nature. It's a construct. And constructs always serve the creator, not the inhabitant. But there is a frequency older than any government and more powerful than any manipulation. Velvet has no doubt that it will become a tree. It doesn't plan, it doesn't measure, it trusts the intelligence that created it. This intelligence has a signature, 432 Hz. Why is this number so important? Because the universe is a language, and that language is mathematics. For 32 is deeply intertwined with the fundamental constants of our reality. When we consider the vibration of the earth, the movement of the sun, and the geometry of life, we repeatedly encounter this harmonious number. For 32 Hz resonates directly with the golden ratio, phi. It's the code by which flowers bloom, by which galaxies rotate, and by which your body is built. When music vibrates at 432 Hz, your body doesn't just hear it, it recognizes it. It's a memory. You're not adding anything, you're remembering frequencies that have always been yours. Consider the science of cymatics, the visualization of sound. When sand or water is exposed to a 432 Hz sound, clear, beautiful, and geometrically perfect patterns emerge. They are mandalas of order and harmony. The water dances within a structure that radiates peace. Now compare this to 440 Hz. Images are often blurrier, more chaotic, less defined. If our bodies are over 70% water, what do you think this constant exposure to a disharmonious frequency does to your cells? For 32 Hz is often called the heartbeat of the universe. It's a frequency that synchronizes the two hemispheres of the brain, promoting coherence between heart and mind. In ancient cultures, from Egypt to India, instruments were intuitively tuned to these vibrations to induce healing and open the mind to higher states of consciousness. They knew what we'd forgotten: sound is nourishment. And for decades, we've been fed acoustic fast food that's left us spiritually malnourished and emotionally bloated. What exactly happens when a biological system designed for cosmic harmony is permanently exposed to artificial dissonance? The result is what we now consider the normal human experience: chronic stress, anxiety, a sense of separation, and constant inner restlessness. 440 Hz primarily stimulates the left hemisphere of the brain, the seat of logical, linear, but also fear-based thinking. It anchors consciousness to the ego, to the me against the world. It creates a subtle pressure on the third eye, a blockage that prevents us from slipping into deeper meditative states. Do you often feel exhausted after listening to the radio, even when you're trying to relax? Do you experience inexplicable aggression while driving while music is playing? This is friction. Your energy field is constantly trying to compensate for the artificial 440 Hz frequency and return to its natural order. This requires energy. Vitality. The matrix feeds on this dissonance. A person at peace with themselves, in resonance with the cosmos, is uncontrollable. He doesn't buy things to fill a void, because he doesn't feel any emptiness. He isn't afraid of the future, because he feels connected to the eternal. This is why frequency shifting is as ingenious as it is diabolical. It's a lock on the door to your higher self. It keeps you trapped in a low vibrational state without you ever touching the bars. But most people fail right there. They recognize the problem, but remain stuck in anger toward the system. Anger, too, is a frequency and ties you to what you're fighting. Resistance isn't a mistake, but it's not the solution. The solution isn't fighting the 440 Hz, but consciously choosing a new reality. Transformation occurs when you stop seeking and start allowing. You don't have to get anything from the universe. You have to allow it to give you what is already yours, in the quantum field. Returning to 432 Hz is the key to activating this allowing. How can you make this change? Start with a conscious decision. Start by taking care of your acoustic environment. Today, there are countless ways to listen to music at 432 Hz. There's software that converts your digital music collection in real time. Use it. If you're a musician, retune your instrument. It may seem unusual at first, perhaps even a little duller to your conditioned ear, but tune in. Don't feel it with your ears, but with your solar plexus, with your heart. You'll notice a warmth, a fullness, that you lacked before. Integrate pure sine tones or Tibetan singing bowls based on this sacred geometry into your meditation. When you expose yourself to these frequencies, something wonderful happens: entrainment. Your body, your brainwaves, and ultimately, your DNA begin to resonate with the harmonious signal. This is the time of healing. Stress hormones decrease. The immune system strengthens. Intuition returns, clear and unmistakable. You begin to recognize the synchronicities in your life not as coincidences, but as signals. It's a detox for the soul. It cleanses the matrix impurities from your energy field. And the more people do it, the stronger the morphogenetic field of harmony becomes. We're not just retuning ourselves, we're retuning the world. Everything you sought was seeking you. Harmony was never lost, it was merely suppressed. Now you have the knowledge to return. You are no longer a victim of frequencies, you are the conductor of your own reality. Readiness is the frequency that transforms potential into reality. Are you ready to leave the old noise behind and immerse yourself in the sound of creation? If you feel this frequency, subscribe to Quantum Frequency and join the awakened. Every click amplifies the field and contributes to collective change. Thank you for your light and your presence. From now on, you won't just be a spectator. You'll be part of the change. Welcome to Quantum Frequency.